Hi everyone, we're getting into our first chapter, chapter 1, part 1 of sales perspective of selling and sales management, into chapter 1, which is the development and role of selling and marketing. Some of the strengths and weaknesses of personal selling. For the strengths, to be interactive, that questions are answered and objectives are overcome. Obviously, being in sales, you're going to have plenty of objections actually, and basically a lot of times you're going to take 10 no's before you finally get a yes. You need to be adaptive. Your presentations can be changed to meet your customer's needs, obviously depending on what type of a customer it is that you're dealing with, and also the personality types. Can be anyone from a type A that is going to be very precisive and quick. It's not going to want to spend a lot of time, to somebody else that's going to spend a lot of time with you and ask all kinds of questions. Obviously, in a sales environment, complex arguments can be developed. Um, Relationships also are very important. A lot of relationships, a lot of sales stick with basically because the person likes the salesperson. So the relationships can be built because of their personal nature. And also it is the strength on it is that it's going to provide an opportunity to close the sale. Some of the weaknesses, obviously, that sales calls are more expensive versus other communications media. Taking time to visit a business customer is going to be far more expensive than just sending out an email. Your experience and expertise of your salespeople are going to be varied, obviously, as to how many years that they've been with you. Chances are, in your lifetime, you probably will have 5 different careers at least, so probably won't stick to a company for a long period of time. Um, Also, it's difficult to standardize the input and the human behavior as people, whether we're conscious of it or not. It obviously can be inconsistent. You never know for sure what you're going to come across when you open up a sales call on it. And then, obviously, training is going to be very costly and it needs to be ongoing. New employees are going to need training. It takes some time to get up to speed and that they feel comfortable meeting with the customers, and experienced salespeople can easily pick up some bad habits that need to be monitored and squelched if it's a bad habit that needs to be taken care of. And obviously, it's always important that employees are always updated in terms of new skills and any expertise that's required on it. So training is an ongoing process for sales. Some of the characteristics of the modern selling, the old hard sell, the plaid suit car salesman, that is gone and people really don't like that type of selling anymore. It has gotten to be more about problem solving and system selling, adding value and satisfying needs, basically what it is that you're going to do that's going to benefit your customer. Obviously, customer retention and deletion is important. Maintaining customers, getting new customers is much more expensive than just retaining old customers, current customers, so you need to make sure that you keep that current database. Your database and knowledge management definitely is important, as far as with email lists, purchasing habits of your consumers. The customer relationship management also is important. Your relationship with your customers, like I said, that's going to maintain their loyalty, and then obviously marketing the product to the customer. So all points do go towards the customer, and like I said, instead of the hard sell, quick selling, it's more the customer's needs is more important in today's environment. Um, the top 10 success factors in selling, and I totally agree with these. Obviously, listening skills are very important. The old adage of you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, that you need to listen twice as much as talk, definitely is important. That's what people are looking for. Your follow-up skills obviously is very important on it. If you've told a customer that you'll get back to them, if you don't know the answer to a question, or you need to gather some further information, it's very important that you do follow up with the customer. So many times that's dropped and leaves a bad taste to them. Again, your ability to adapt your sales style from situation to situation, as I mentioned to you in my opening introduction, that in Yellow Pages I worked with everyone from auto body shop on up to Sanford Hospital in the same day. So I might have a cat crawling up my back or a dog at my heels at a body shop, and then going to a very professional business, like I said, such as Sanford or Avera, that you need to be very professional. Um, you need to have tenacity, sticking to your task. Basically, with sales, you're kind of running your own business, and especially if you're in a commission sales, uh, you are responsible for your own and your own success, so you really need to stick to it, and sometimes it's not an easy job, but you need to have some guts on it and stick to the task. Your organizational skills are also very important. Like I said, it's running your own business, so you need to manage your own organization, make sure that you've got all of your paperwork and everything in line on it. Verbal communication skills obviously are very important, especially when you're out meeting with the public. You also might be doing a presentation in front of a group of people. Being proficient in interacting with people at all levels within the organization, and you always need to learn how to handle everyone that works for the company, including someone that's at the front desk. They are the gatekeeper, and they do have quite a bit of control whether they can allow you to get in and see the appropriate people on it. So you all need to be proficient in working with all different levels of the organization and respect everyone also. You need to demonstrate your ability to overcome objections. Like I said, sales is objections. Probably going to get 10 no's before you get a yes, so you need to be prepared how to answer each one of those objectives efficiently. Your closing skills, obviously, you're not going to do anything unless you actually close the sale, so you need to be able to ask for the order and ask to close the sale. Personnel planning and time management skills. Like I said, you need to plan your time, you need to plan your schedule on it so that you get your work done in a timely manner, and you're not rushing the customer. That's one thing that's a huge turnoff too, is that if they are asked to make a decision with not a lot of time for a deadline, that's not going to fare well also for the consumer. Different types of selling, the selling function, order takers basically are going to be inside order takers, whether they're over the phone. They might possibly be delivery salespeople that are delivering to customers. They could be outside order takers that go around and take orders from different businesses that they work with. Order creators are going to be more missionary salespeople. Order getters are going to be the frontline salespeople who know a lot about the business and have a good idea of what the consumers are looking for. They can be new business salespeople looking to get new business drummed up, organizational salespeople on it, consumer salespeople if you're dealing directly with the consumer on it. And then it's always important too, especially if you're dealing with technical product, is to have a sales support salesperson. They are going to have the technical support and also the merchandisers. And it's important that they know how to all the ins and outs of a product. So definitely people, that's what they're going to be looking for, especially if it's an electronic or technical device. And we all probably know about that as far as with a new cell phone or with a new computer. It's helpful to have someone that's good with technology. Some of the characteristics of effective sales managers. I've worked for a lot of different sales managers, and I think it's very important that the sales manager is a team player and that they're positive and they're in there working with you. Much easier to work for someone like that and to increase sales if you're willing to work with you as a team. Alright, you're much more apt to want good results with that person too. So obviously, again, for the sales manager, that they need to be a good listener as well as a talker, having good listening and communication skills, human relation skills. They're going to need to be working directly with people, and so they need to do that effectively and to develop rapport. Sales can be a dog-eat-dog. There always is different scenarios, so it's important that they are able to work effectively on it and handle all sorts of different human relations, personality types, and to be able to resolve problems. Organizational skills, again, the sales manager needs to be able to manage their own time and their work activities. They need to always have a good knowledge of their own industry, a good knowledge of the product and the business in general on it, especially if they're going out and talking to the customers also. Again, as I mentioned earlier, that it's important that the sales manager has an ability to improve the salesperson's selling skills. It's very helpful if the sales manager has been in the sales job themselves, because then they actually know what it's like being down in the trenches and what it is to deal with. They need to be very motivating. They need to recognize what's going to motivate salespeople and what is going to reward good performance on it. Whether it's extra time off or more pay, maybe that's not altogether important to the salesperson, so they need to take care of. Realize what it is that's going to motivate them and increase the bottom line for themselves and for the company. Obviously, it's very important that a sales manager needs to be honest and ethical. They need to be truthful, straightforward. They also need to be fair, because a lot of times that can be realized that the sales manager is showing some favorability to a person, and that also leaves for bad feelings on it. Selling skills, the sales manager has to have some sales experience himself and know what it's like to be a salesperson. Definitely is easier, as I said, if they are experienced in selling the product themselves. They're going to know the best. Obviously, the leadership skills, sales manager that encourages and inspires salespeople, much easier to work for someone that's that way versus someone that is not a good leader. They also need to have willingness to empower. The sales manager needs to allow the salesperson to take some responsibility and some action on it. It's important for them to be able to do that, because, like I said, the salesperson is handling their own business on it. And adaptability, the sales manager does need to be flexible on it. Sometimes we're going to run into some different situations with some irate customers, and it's important that they are flexible and willing to work with lots of different types of personalities. Sales versus marketing or orientation. Emphasis on the seller's need is going to start out with production, then go on to sales, and then on to the customer, back to production. Marketing orientation, which has become more popular, the focus is on the customer's needs, then going on to production and then to the sales. It's more of an emphasis on the customer's needs and what it is that you're able to do for the customer versus trying to push your product to them. The marketing mix, I'm sure you're probably familiar with the 4 Ps in marketing, which was started by McCarthy back in 1960, was products, price, promotion, and place. In 1987, Judd added on people. Kotler, famous marketing guru, also added on political power and public opinion formation on it. Bittner in 1981, also included participants, physical evidence, and process. And then Baumgartner in 1991 included probing, partition, prioritize position, profit, plan, performance, being positive, and implementation. All those areas are key to the marketing mix. The product life cycle, as talked about in Chapter 1, is the introduction is starting out slow. It's going to be slow, making some money, gradually having some growth on it, reaching into maturity, and then going as far as in decline. Apple has always been a company that we look at quite often with sales, as far as a growth company, sort of a seeming, especially like with the death of Steve Jobs, that maybe the iPhone and the iPad has kind of reached the maturity level, not too much new has come out on it. So, anyway, when you introduce a product, obviously you're going to start out with a loss, and it will grow steadily to the maturity level, and then it will start to decline. Yellow Pages definitely would be a company that would be in a decline mode on it, and when you're at that, then you need to look at trying to revive the product or getting into some other sort of business. The adoption of innovators, innovations. Obviously, the innovators are going to be, especially like with smartphone era, younger people are going to be the first ones that are